This is my finished keychain. I thought it turned out pretty well. I painted with a very fine tip paintbrush, some cherry red highlights, or lowlights, I guess, shadows. So everything down here was in the shadows, and around the edges of everything, and around the little, this little part of the bee, the little curly Q part, that was all painted with a cherry red. This was the first one, and I also painted with a matte clear coat on this one. This one was my first one, and I didn't chop the bottom off. You'll see what I mean when you see the video here in a minute. And it managed to scooch over. So that wasn't good, but you can see that just a little bit of the dark red shadows around the edges of everything. It makes a big difference in how it looks. This color, by the way, is Toybox's new habanero color. It's this really bright red. Okay, on to the video. So in order to make a keychain like this with a custom font, you'll probably want a SVG file. You can also, there's some other files you can use, but SVG is pretty easy to get. So you can use a free program called Inkscape. It's at inkscape.org. You'll notice that up here you can actually do some support for them if you'd like, but it's a free program. You download it right here, and that program's just a really free, easy, and yet powerful program to use to make SVG files. If you have a Cricut or a Cameo Silhouette or another electronic cutter, you probably already have software that would do this. Or if you have CorelDRAW or Illustrator or anything like that, you already have software. But this is a nice free one that you can use. This is Inkscape. So to get our lettering in there, we go to the text tool over here, click anywhere on the screen, and type in the word you want. And that font is okay, but there's others I like a little better for this project. So when you double click on that, it will select all of your lettering, and up here at the top, all of the different fonts that are in your computer are going to show up as something that you could use. This is really cool, and I am going to be doing a video for you about how to download new fonts. It's really simple, and it's really cool because you could use any font that you can imagine for your keychains or any other projects you might have. Ooh, I like that one too. That one's peanut butter. There's some really cool ones, but today we were using Jokerman. So let me go to Jokerman. There you go. All right, and I like to make everything a little bit bigger. So I notice that when you pull on the handles, things kind of move around. Get used to the keyboard shortcut Control-Z, which will take you back. It's like an undo button. And so if you want to scale up something proportionately, use your Shift or your Control. In this program, it is Control. And you will make that larger. Now, in order for this to be able to be used in our Toybox app, it has to be turned from a font into a picture. So the easiest way to do this in this program is Path and Flatten. If you don't do that, you'll get this. So after you have flattened your image, you're going to go right here and you're going to pick the correct folder to put this in. So be sure that you find the folder that you want. I've got one in my 3D folder that I've made called Keychains, and I'm going to name this one Jokerman Robin Keychain. All right, and then you're going to make sure you choose an SVG file. It could be the Inkscape SVG or just the regular one. And you're going to click on Save. So now you want to go to the Toybox app, and you'll go to Create, and then you'll scroll down a little bit and click on Build. To get our keychain made, we're going to go to our Creator space, which is where I am right now, and we're going to import. Right here, we're going to import the file we just made, which I happen to know is in my keychain folder called Jokerman Robin Keychain SVG. And since we flattened it, yeah, there it is. Woo! Now I'm a mouse user, and I want you guys to think hard about using a mouse because it really makes things easy. See how I can zoom around the left with the left click move side to side with the right click, and then when I use shift keys with the right and left and all that, I can actually see things at different angles. So you can also zoom in with just scroll in the center of your mouse and zoom out. So it's pretty cool. All right, so there's some fun stuff we can do. If you don't see this right here, your properties, you will see them when you click on the pencil. And we can actually add some really cool effects here. So we can add a bevel. See how that's going to make it a little fatter. We can change how many segments are in that bevel. So that would be like a 1 segment. It's kind of a hard kind of look to it. I like mine a bit softer. So I'm going to add some more bevel segments here. My biggest thing I really wanted to do here was to make sure that the eye and the dot over the eye were connected together. So that was kind of in my mind. There's other ways we could connect it, but that was an easy way to do it, make that bevel bigger. So that's really cool. All right, so if we printed this right now, we would have R and O together, and then B and I and M would be separate pieces. So we need to connect all that together. I'm going to use a simple box over here, and I'm going to make that fit. See how the little handles you can move? I'm going to say about 54 millimeters is probably about right. Get rid of that so I can see. And notice how tall that is. That's not good. We want it shorter. So I'm going to bring that down to 2 millimeters. 2 millimeters is a really nice round number that I have found over the years. Works really well. It's pretty thin, but not, not super flimsy. So we could do maybe 6 millimeters or 5 even for that. And I can move it over a little bit more. That looks pretty good to me. Let's see what that, yeah, looks good. I'm going to add a ring for our keychain. Just click over here for ring. This is actually a pretty good, decent size, but it looks kind of big compared to this. So I'm going to do about a 4 millimeter radius on that, which makes it an 8 millimeter radius. Of course, is half of the diameter, and that needs to be short as well, right? So I'm going to bring that down to 2. Now, right now we could print this out, and remember at the beginning where I showed you how it shifted? If you look at the underside, you'll see what probably happened was this was not very smooth on the underside, and so it was trying really hard to print well, but it had a hard time. So I'm going to actually make this go down below the surface. So when I do that, up here in my properties, I go to transform, and I go down. Now, it won't let me do that if I have grounding selected, so I'm going to deselect that. I've got my name selected, and I'm going to go down. That's down 1 millimeter. I'm going to try going down 2 millimeters, okay? And it says, hey, this isn't going to print. So if you try to print this right now, it would really not do well at all. And I do want my lettering taller, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that, let's see, up 2 more. Let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that. That looks pretty good. But I can't just leave it all hanging out down there. I'm going to shave off the bottom. So I'm going to use another box. And this time this box is going to be big enough to cover the whole entire word. And I'm going to make it 2 millimeters high. And I'm going to bring it down below so it shaves off the bottom. So here again in my transform, I'm going to take that down 2, which is the same amount that I took down the other. And that, then I can use the subtract tool over here. It'll take it a minute because it's shaving off the bottom of the name, of my name here. So it'll take a minute. There you go. And that looks pretty good. Now it's telling me the object is not watertight. You see these holes that are in here? So yeah, that's not a great thing. We can try to fix this when we click here. We can fix it, but it really makes a mess most of the time. See how it kind of added these weird things? Remember my Control Z? That's undo. Another way to undo would be right here. Undo and redo. So I'm just going to leave it alone as far as it not being watertight. I happen to know it's going to be fine. And I'm going to click on Create. Now, before I clicked on Create, I could have chosen in the Build section up here, I could have chosen to print this out at a better quality, which is probably what I would do. And it looks pretty good, so it's ready to print. But if you want to go back, you can always go back to Edit. You can always go to Build, and you can choose a better quality or the fast. And that is how we got our keychain for today. And be looking for that next video at some point about how to download new fonts. It's really fun. You can use the fonts in any of your programs that you might use. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day.